Hello YouTube, it's BirdOPrey5, and I'm here with a very quick first look, although there will be no pictures, of What We Left Behind, the brand new Deep Space Nine documentary that just hit last night for the early backers. Way back years ago, this project started on Indiegogo, and yes, I backed it. I could not wait. Deep Space Nine was, and I'm sorry to say, while I think TOS was a great series, Deep Space Nine, if I had to choose, and I only had one series to watch over and over again, it would be Deep Space Nine, just for the fact that it has so many more episodes. But that said, Deep Space Nine, pivotal Star Trek series in my life. It went on as I was turning from a teenager into a man. Captain Sisko instilled in me Starfleet's ideals, and granted, they were not the same as Captain Picard's, but you know what? I think I'm a better man for following that of the lead of Captain Sisko than that of Captain Picard. Not to say Captain Picard was a bad captain or that TNG was a bad show, just Deep Space Nine definitively better in my opinion. And I could not wait. I could not wait for this documentary, and they kept putting it off and putting it off, and I will tell you, it was worth the wait. Okay? Now, some things we got to clear up. Before you are allowed to see this pre-release, they throw up all this legal crap claiming that you promise not. The only way you're allowed to access it is by agreeing not to share any still images, video recordings, or plot points without prior written permission. I'm sorry, as much as I respect you, Ira, and the rest of the team. No, okay? You do not get to put those conditions on something I already paid for after the fact, after I've already paid for it. So while I understand you are trying to save and protect this film so that other people can see it unspoiled, and I'm not going to spoil it all for anyone, you do not get to make those decisions. Okay, you can't just force somebody to agree to something after the fact. Okay, I paid for it, and fair use is a real thing. It is covered by United States law. You do not get to trump fair use, okay? I have every right to use screenshots. I have every right to use short videos, and yes, you make us go through this ridiculous confirmation to put in our phone number and get a text message before we can view it, claiming it's to prevent piracy. Well, you know what? I was able to get around that in about 15 seconds, okay? I've already been able to record the entire thing. I'm not going to share it and not going to give it away, but you know what? Whatever the hell you paid for this website that obfuscates your video or something, it doesn't work, okay? The screen grab, the screen capture, it all worked flawlessly, and I will be reliving these space battles over and over again in HD because, oh my God, yes, we get some HD remastered space battles that I'm not sorry, because I'm not sorry. But they put what we saw on Star Trek Discovery's final episode to shame, because these are real starships, not stupid little drones. There's the Defiant, there are Klingon birds of prey, the bigger, the Kavork class, or whatever they are. There's Romulan ships, there's Federation ships, there's Cardassian ships, there's Jem'Hadar ships. All big ships, all fighting in a war with phasers. Big phasers, long beam phasers, not pew pew phasers like we want to see. And yes, there's just enough of it. And we get to meet up with our favorite characters, almost all of the characters. Avery Brooks, as I suspected, did not have a big part. I think fact, I'm not even sure if they got him in this to interview for this specifically, or if this was footage from previous interviews, because he did not have any real new footage. But everyone else that's alive, they at least made an appearance. Some a lot more than others. The actors who played Quark, Nog, Rom, Jake Sisko, and especially Garrick. They all have great parts in this, and we get to see some clips from some actors. I won't say which ones, but clearly they had crushes on the other actors, actresses in the show, and apparently they were not, reciprocal. So you kind of see that they had to shoot these apart from each other because one did not want to be in the same room as the other. Nothing terrible, but you certainly get the vibe like, oh, well, now it makes so much more sense. When I first heard that the producers, directors, whatever, they didn't want us to spoil this film, I'm like, it's a documentary. How do you spoil a documentary? And I honestly was perplexed. Having seen it, I can say I now understand. There are some big things, revelations, if you will, that it's probably best you watch it yourself. So I will forego the spoilers for now. Though if some point people want to get into them in the future, I totally will be down for that. But this is a spoiler-free review. And I am doing that under no legal obligation, mind you, but under my own obligation to my fellow Deep Space Nine fans. I don't want to ruin something for you that could be quite beautiful. And you should definitely see this. If you can, get a ticket for the May 13th showing, at least in the United States. Seeing this footage on the big screen is going to be even more awesome than seeing it on, your laptop screen or your HD TV. God knows if I could be there, I would be there. It is superb. And when they upconvert to HD, they do not do the 4:3 HD that TNG does. They do the full 16:9 HD picture that a modern HD television can handle, which is awesome. That said, fair warning. If there's 10 minutes of HD footage in this 1 hour and 58 minutes documentary, and now it's not all the documentary. There's a few minutes at the beginning of just an advertisement for the movie. And the ending credits. The ending credits are quite long, as you might guess. They have pretty much every backer's name, I believe, perhaps, or at least some level of backers. Tons and tons of names who backed the project are at the end of the video. But to make it more interesting, throughout most of the credits, they do have several people talking about new stuff, and they make mention to the fact that there are going to be special features on the upcoming DVD and Blu Ray that we don't have access to yet. But in weeks or months, probably months, when we do finally get our hard copies, the fact that there's going to be even more footage that wasn't in this 2-hour premiere makes me feel pretty good. So throughout this documentary, intertwined between the interviews of cast members, they also have the original writing staff together, and they are going through a hypothetical Season 8, Episode 1 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And this is done pretty well. It is not fully animated. It is not an hour-long animated episode. It is the writers talking about possible storylines, and then some fairly crude storyboard animations, colorized, full color, but storyboard animations to go along with what they are brainstorming in their session. And truth be told, they only get through the first 3 acts, and then the last 2 acts they kind of have to rush because I guess they're out of time for the day, and they couldn't come back 2 days in a row. I guess that was asking too much of them. So fine. So we get 3 pretty well thought out acts, and then the final 2 are pretty big. I mean, and this is not a spoiler, because I think everybody has already heard most of this before. But this hypothetical series takes place 20 years after Deep Space Nine ended, so about real time. Nog is a captain of a Starfleet vessel. He is near Deep Space Nine, and let's just say he gets the band back together, and just about everyone that we know and love shows up. There are lots of twists, lots of surprises, lots of, I don't want to, this is where we don't want to spoil anything. It would be a great episode, okay? It would be an episode worthy of Game of Thrones or any of the other great dramas that Deep Space Nine led the way for. It's also very much a documentary to show the world that, hey, they were there, they mattered, they never got the respect they deserved at the time, and they pioneered new forms of storytelling on TV that had yet really not been done. So Deep Space Nine deserves a lot of credit, just beyond the Star Trek universe, just for everyone. And I will say, this is one quote that they use, that there wouldn't have been a Game of Thrones, there wouldn't have been Breaking Bad, there wouldn't have been these other series without someone pioneering serialized storytelling. And really, that was Deep Space Nine. Okay, it wasn't a soap opera, it was prime time. And okay, they didn't use prime time because God knows it aired at all different times depending where you lived. But it was prime time drama on television, and it was way ahead of their time. That's the takeaway. Just too ahead of its time. It is so much better as a streamable series today than it was where you had to wait a week between episodes, and worse, because it was syndicated, really. They had no home network. You couldn't even control what the networks did, and some networks would skip episodes. Some stations you would skip episodes, and God, you cannot skip a Deep Space Nine episode. So the fans got a raw deal, and it hurt. It hurt the series, it hurt the actors, and it hurt the writers. It hurt the entire staff behind the show. They read fan letters, fan mail that they received over the years, and a lot of it reads like current Star Trek Discovery hate mail. I don't know how else to say it. Like things I would say in a video about the Star Trek Discovery, people were saying about Deep Space Nine in mail they received. Physical paper mail. Okay? People were writing how Jadzia was too perfect. Really? I mean, today we're like, Jadzia too perfect? Jadzia's not too perfect. Michael Burnham is too perfect. But I wonder. No. Okay, no. Okay, Star Trek Discovery is crap. I am sorry. You're not going to make me feel bad for the Star Trek Discovery writers. And yes, I do think they took a swipe or two at Star Trek Discovery in here, especially when they joke about a show they could make. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, don't feel too bad, okay? The Deep Space Nine writers, they did something great. Maybe we couldn't recognize it at the time. I did. I mean, I loved Deep Space Nine. I loved it at the time, and I love it more now. But some people didn't. And no, okay? It is definitively better than Star Trek Discovery will ever be. That said, I don't want this to get too long. This is not a full review. I'll discuss it more in the Bed Life stream coming up. But man, if you can, see this. See it in the movies. See it, buy it on Blu Ray or DVD when it comes out. Or if you have a friend who was an early backer, get over to their house before Monday, I believe it expires, and watch it. Because yes, you owe it to yourself. If you are a Star Trek fan, if you are a Deep Space Nine fan, to watch this show, it will give you some closure, and it will also set us up for what I hope will be an awesome what if series. What if Deep Space Nine continued? It's going to just be me talking about what might happen, and we'll do episode by episode and see where it goes, because I think you will enjoy the world they set up at the end of Season 8, Episode 1 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So with that, Qapla, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the upcoming weeks. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. If you want to visit me, check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. And if you're really crazy, you can send me some money on PayPal. Take care. Sassy, do you want to see what your bark looks like on audio?